תגדיר את זה, תגיד לי מתי אתה חדש.
צווארי משבע? So we're going to start in 5 minutes. This is the UX Salon Meetup. If you're here for the blockchain meetup, it's downstairs. So everyone should know that.
können wir nochmal die 10 Aussagen der Worte erarbeiten. Top 10 Aussagen, die dann gefallen sind. Ja, super.
Okay. So, hello everyone. You made it. Great. Okay. So, I want to welcome everyone. First of all, before we begin, I want to say very, very big thanks to the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange for hosting us here. So please, everyone, give them a big round. It's a really great location, as you can see. Yes. So to lighten up, to start up with a good laugh, and I want to show you.
Say boom boom boom, let me hear you say well. Boom boom boom, let me hear you say well. Boom boom, let me hear you say well. Say boom boom boom, let me hear you say well.
So boom boom boom, let me hear you say. Yay! Okay, that's it. Good atmosphere, good vibes. So, is anyone here for the first time at UX Salon Meetup? One here. Okay. Oh, that's a hands. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of explanation of what's UX Salon. UX Salon is a monthly meetup where we discuss user experience design. Every month is a different location. Actually, we're having another one this month on the 13th in Google Campus. It's going to be about B2B versus B2C UX. So you guys are welcome. And we have once a year, we have a yearly conference, which will be next year. It will be in March. It's a big event. A lot of speakers from abroad coming, and of course you're invited. Before we continue, I always do this because people here also to enjoy a presentation, but also maybe to network or find a job. Is anyone here looking for a job? Okay, so let's make it easier. Is anyone here looking to hire? Anyone looks to hire? Don't be shy. Okay, so if you're looking for a job, that's not the place to be. No one's hiring here. Okay, so by the way, so if you are looking for a job or hiring, if you go to the uxsalonwebsite.com/jobs, you can use this. I help people connect with companies. So add your resume, and maybe I can help you find a job. I want to do something with you guys. Okay, can you guys pull up your phone, please? Okay, so does anyone here have Instagram? Can you look for uxsalon.com and follow uxsalon.com because it's going to be fun. And if you follow, you're going to get like lots of behind-the-scenes insights to what's happening with UX Salon, when the early bird comes up for the next conference, and I'm going to hand out free tickets. So it's good to follow and see what's happening, and there's going to be daily quotes and book recommendations. It's a really cool place to be. And one more last announcement. This is the team from last year's conference. Hey, Lydia's here. I'm always looking for volunteers to help out with what I do with UX Salon. So if you're looking, if you want to help, if you want to be a part of this, if you want to be a social media moderator or a volunteer in some of the events and help out, please get in touch with me after the event, and so we can talk and see how that works. Okay, so to begin, we're going to have two talks. The first talk is by Dror Barn. He's going to talk about how you avoid the hassle of IT products, and then following him, which is a tough act to follow. Come on. I'm going to speak. I'm going to tell you about what is so smart about smart devices. And then we're going to go out to the boulevard, have beer, and it's going to be fun. So, Dror, check your...
Yeah. So, yeah.
Working? Yeah.
Yes.
Just a minute of technical difficulties. Let me just go full screen here. Cursor. Here it is. All right. So, hi everyone. My name is Dror. I'm an interaction designer, and these days I'm working in a design studio. I'm working on a product for Google, which is one of the studio's clients.
In my previous position, I worked as a product manager for a cool AI company called Nura. And before that, I was the creative director of an IoT company called Sensibo, where I worked for about 2.5 years on the company's product from the ground up, basically. But that's the product that I'm going to talk about today. But before I go into that, I want to talk a bit about how I got to even work in IoT. So it all started about 10 years ago when I finished design school and became an industrial designer. I designed all sorts of products, from military devices to medical tools. And the thing that attracted me the most to industrial design was how it was all about the people and how they experience the products that they use. I've also always had this passion for designing graphic interfaces. And it always fascinated me because of the flexibility that graphic interfaces offer the users compared to physical products that are pretty much the way that they are from the moment that they get out of the factory. So after a couple of years as an industrial designer, I decided to make the switch and become an interaction designer. And when I became an interaction designer, it was pretty much my first encounter with the Israeli tech scene. I started working in a design studio and got to design interfaces for fascinating, successful startups from nothing, basically, and sometimes from something. It was always in cooperation with the companies. And after a couple of years in a studio designing products for others, I kind of wanted to get out there and become a part of a startup company myself as well. And that's when a friend introduced me to Sensibo's founders and told me that they are developing a new and innovative IoT product and that they are looking for a designer who will join them and help them think about the company's product and its design and the vision and the branding and turn it from something that is really cool technologically to a product that users will love and actually want to use. And up until that moment, I wasn't really sure if what I preferred working on was physical products or graphic interfaces. But this opportunity to work in IoT allowed me to answer, yalla, let's do it. Let's work in IoT, where it all meets. And that's when I joined Sensibo and became the company's creative director. Sensibo is an IoT company that has a product that is like this small gadget that allows users to turn any air conditioner into a smart connected AC that they control remotely from anywhere. So I joined Sensibo as the company's first employee. And the founders told me about the vision that they have for this product. And their plan was to build a product that turns any existing AC into a smart one. And it sounded like magic. And I was so excited to be a part of this team and to build a product from nothing and to work in the world of IoT. And it was a whole new world for me. And what I had in mind when I started working in IoT was creating smart home products that look kind of like these. And these are a couple of screenshots from an IoT smart home presentation by Beko, an electronics manufacturer. And you know, I thought about IoT as an amazing, magical place where kids compete about who brushes their teeth faster, or the fridge offers cake ingredients and makes an automatic shopping list, and the oven is always preheated to the right temperature, and the laundry machine always just finishes its cycle at the right time, and probably also hangs the clothes for you, I guess. But this magical vision of IoT is, in fact, these days, I mean, it looks a bit more like this. I'm not saying that IoT sucks. I'm just saying that IoT kind of needs a few more tweaks to make it more usable for us, to become that ecosystem where devices serve us and know exactly what we want to achieve. And these are the main problems I think IoT has these days. The first one is apps that mimic physical products. That means apps that work and look like the products that they are trying to replace, instead of creating new interactive experiences. The second one is flows that are a bit too complicated. I'm talking about IoT products that are complicated to operate. For example, if it'll take me less time to turn off my smart light with the electrical switch than to do it through the smartphone, then that's what I'll do. I won't use the product. Fragmented ecosystem is just like complicated flows. Think about each product having a different app that I need to use in order to operate it. That just multiplies the problem of complicated flows. And last but not least, a sense of security and assurance. IoT deals with products that can be sensitive or energy consuming, and not giving users a sense of reliability can be a major concern and cause them not to use the products at all sometimes. And I can say that at Sensibo we didn't make any of these mistakes. We sure made some, but it'll probably take me an hour just to talk about the mistakes we did. So if anyone wants to hear about UX mistakes that we did, I'll be able to talk about them later. But we also did some good things that helped us become an app that is always mentioned on, a couple of colleagues arrived. So it also helped us create an app that is mentioned on a lot of lists of the best smart ACs on the market, basically. And there are some good news, because we did do some good stuff. And I'd like to talk about them now. So the first point I'd like to address is the medium in which we control IoT products, which is usually a graphic interface in an app. When IoT became popular, companies tried explaining the change from physical products to applications by copying the products that they are trying to replace. And this made sense, because if I'm trying to get users who are used to using a remote control for controlling their AC to using an app, it kind of makes sense that I'll create an app that looks like an AC remote control. But the problem is that, one, the apps that show too many buttons don't have any hierarchies, and all functions get the same attention level, and there's no direction to the important parts of the interface. And the second problem is that physical interfaces don't always translate well to graphic interfaces. For example, imagine a product that has a rotary knob that you need to rotate to control it. Rotating a graphic knob is a lot harder than controlling a physical one. So what we did at Sensibo was trying to understand how users actually use their AC. And through user studies, we saw that they actually use a lot less buttons than AC remote controls actually have. For example, the main button that is usually shown on AC remote controls is the toggling between AC modes. For example, toggling between heating to cooling to fan. And we saw that users actually don't use this button at all. So we removed it and we sent it to more behind the scenes menu. And this helped us minimize the interface that we use. The second, and speaking of users, IoT products can react to user needs, which is a part of what makes them so magical. You can set the smart lights to turn on when the sun sets, or set the door lock to alert you when your partner returns home. But what happens when you bring in more users into the equation? Or if my roommate turns off the lights with the light switch and turns on the AC with the remote control instead of using the app? Or what happens if the baby is asleep but my partner turns on the TV from far away without knowing that? Or if the internet isn't working at all and I still need to use my devices? So it's really important to take other users into account who are around your main user. At Sensibo, one of the first things we did was incorporate a log into the app that allows users to understand who did what, or if the app itself did something automatically, like adjusting the AC's temperature to preserve energy, or change the app based on the user's arrival. And speaking of understanding the user's location, one more thing we did was turn off the AC when users leave home, but only when the last user has left home. So there won't be a situation where one user leaves home, but there's another one who stays at home and doesn't understand why the AC is suddenly turned off. And another way to get users happy is to actually add delightfulness to your product. And delightfulness is all about putting the fun into the functionality of the product, which is something that we tried doing with this app in a few different ways. At Sensibo, we used colors, motion, and customization in order to create a product that is more delightful to the users. When I'm talking about colors, one thing we did with the app, this is the screen that allows users to control their AC. We incorporated a light gradient background in the app where you control your AC, which kind of explains the state that the room is in, if the room is cold or hot, and what you're trying to do with the AC, if you're trying to heat or cool the room. And let's say that the room is hot and you're trying to cool it, the cooler blue color slowly takes over the warm color of the room and gives you the feeling of what the AC is doing right now, instead of just showing it to you with numbers. Another cool thing we did, by the way, was kind of create more pleasing colors to the temperatures that are more energy efficient, to encourage users to set the application to the more pleasing colors. We also used motion to help users understand if the AC is right now on or off. At the center of the screen, we showed a small fan icon that kind of starts rotating when the AC is turned on. And it's a bit hard to see, but above the gradient that explains the temperature, we also incorporated light dust particles that kind of float in the air and gives a feeling of some sort of an ambience. But when the user turns on the AC, they start circulating as if they're blown away by the AC's wind. And the last piece of the light comes from allowing users to personalize their rooms at home according to the AC. They can choose an icon that represents the room, and they can also give it a personalized name. And when we interviewed users and got some feedback, we saw that some users gave their ACs like really fun names, like the North Pole or the Love Shack or the Man Cave, and lots more cool names that we saw users using. But all of these delightful features aren't really worth anything if the users don't feel like they can trust the products that they have. And that's a big concern with products that are controlled remotely. Let's say that right now I'm Mr. Stock Photo business person over there, and I'm at my office, and I'm seeing that the AC is turned on, then I want to turn it off. And I'm pressing the turn off button remotely. How do I know that something actually happened, or if the internet is actually down at home, or the electricity? In order to answer that problem, we designed a small animation sequence that appears when a user operates a command on the app. And that's actually like a small rotating spinner that rotates while the app checks that the command was actually sent to the device. And once it verifies that the command was actually sent, it returns the user a reply of like an X or a V that notifies them that the command was sent and the app has been shut down or turned on. And when we checked it with users, we saw that this gave them a very strong sense of assurance that the product is working as intended. And actually, when done right, the potential of IoT is really quite limitless. That's what I personally love most about it. It's about how it gives the products an identity, a set of sensors, and a personal voice. IoT empowers products and allows them to operate in ways that were impossible before. For example, controlling one AC is neat, but it gets even better if the app allows you to control your entire home and create a unified climate system. Even if you have ACs from different brands or different models, it allows you to control it all from one place. And the potential is even greater. Think about an app that allows you to control your ACs at home and at your office and change between them automatically. Or even more, think about an entire office building. Think about this place that might have different ACs in different rooms. And using IoT, you'll be able to control the entire building remotely and modify its energy consumption. Or even an entire city. It's really quite limitless. And basically, all of these ideas about to improve apps UX lead me to a slightly different point. The thing with creating IoT products isn't just about improving your app's UX. You can create the most amazing app, the most comfortable app, the most usable app, and still users might not use it as much as they could. Because IoT is also about allowing users to use your product through other channels. That's why when we created Sensibo's product, one of the first things we did was to create an IFTTT channel. Now, for those of you who don't know it, IFTTT is an app. It's a short for if this then that allows users to connect between different devices. So it allowed them to create rules such as if the temperature is above 28 degrees, turn on the AC, and other rules such as that. And we've also connected as quickly as we could to Google's Google Home and Apple HomeKit to connect Sensibo into that ecosystem. And we also created APIs that allowed users to do different things with our product. For example, one user who was technologically capable created the desktop version of Sensibo with our API that allowed him to control the AC from far away from his desktop. Or another user actually used Sensibo's infrared capabilities to program it through our API to control his stereo and television. So once you open your product, you can get amazing things. And in the end, it's not just about getting your product to be used the way you want it. It's to open it and make sure everyone can use it in many creative ways. And I actually think that that's the biggest potential of IoT, creating open products that can be used in multiple different ways that improve and simplify people's lives, and that way reduce the hassle of UX in IoT. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. So if you can, change back to the original settings. To this presentation. All right, thank you, Dror. It was great. And we are moving on. So, as you all know, we are in the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, and I'm here to control. I have a button that I can control. Usually, people who are going to the stock market, they press this button, and something happens, but let's see what happens. Nothing. Okay. So, I'm going to do something special for you guys. I'm going to do an unboxing. We're broadcasting live on YouTube, and of course, this is a great platform, so I'm going to unbox this device. This device here. So for today's presentation, I want to talk to you about how smart are smart devices really smart. And if we have time, we're going to go into how designers can save the world. Right? So, this product here, say hello to Sense. It's the world's most advanced connected alarm clock. It's a marvel of human engineering. It's a really great-looking device. It really feels good. It has sensors in it. It has lights in it. And it's a piece of junk. Let me tell you the story of how I got to acquire this product. So, a few years ago, I was surfing on Facebook, and I came across this ad, Sense, no more, sleep better. And I was intrigued. I pressed the button, and I came to this Kickstarter page, and this is the video I got to see there.
Sense is a simple system that tracks your sleep, monitors the environment of your bedroom, and reinvents the alarm. Sense watches for noise, light, temperature, particulates in the air, and more. With the sleep pill, your movements at night tells you how soundly you're sleeping. If you're disturbed at 3 AM, you should be able to see if it was your partner snoring or a car alarm that went off. We all have a natural sleep cycle, but a normal alarm will wake you up regardless of when's best for you. With Sense's smart alarm, it knows how to wake you up at the right time, so you don't start the day feeling terrible. If you want to be up by 9:30, but you're already half awake at 9:15, then your alarm should know to go off then, not wait for you to fall deeper into sleep. Here at Hello, we've been heads down for quite a while now.
So this is amazing, right? What they're promising here is something that human biology did not solve. We oversleep. And because we oversleep, we get up tired. So instead of us oversleeping, this alarm will measure how well we sleep and will wake us up exactly fresh, feeling good. So I was really excited to buy this product, and I thought this is going to change my life. And of course, as a speaker, I went around the world speaking about the Internet of Things. Here are some examples of me going. This is in Berlin, and here is in Vilnius. And I have a group on Facebook, Designing with Sensors. I thought, wow, this is something I gotta get. I have to get this. So I purchased it, and I waited. They promised me within 2 months. But I waited another month, and another month, and another update, and another. It took them 1 year to deliver this promise, and I keep thinking, this is going to change my life. I'm waiting for it already. What's happening? And I wrote them an email. Why are you not shipping? And they started shipping in the United States, and then to Europe, and then I received it in Israel. So 1 year later, I was very excited, and as you see here in this video, I was exactly like that. I was like taking photo of the process and taking it out and putting it on the table. It's really, really beautiful thing. And I only used it for 1 week. 1 week, that's it. That's all it takes to make me feel like this is something I don't want to need. I don't need in my life. I made a mistake. And let me explain to you why. So when you get this product, you download the app, and in the app, they promise you a few things. So the first thing is the smart alarm. And basically, as I said before, it measures your sleep. And how does it work? It has this button that you are attaching to. Oh, okay, so there's a button there that you attach to your pillow, and it measures how you sleep at night, how you move. It knows your sleep cycle, and then it wakes you up fresh, as they promised. But there was a problem of reliability, because every time I shook my pillow, it took 15 minutes for the app to update. And I was like, what's this? What's going on here? It's not very, very responsive. But I thought, all right. But then what happened is, like, what happens if you go to sleep after your partner goes to sleep? So the pillow starts to move like an hour before I go to sleep. I don't know, what is that? What does that mean? They never explained to me, if my partner goes to sleep before me, we need to get 2 buttons. How does it work? So I felt uncomfortable about this from the beginning, but I gave it a shot, and I actually used it for twice for the smart alarm. So the next thing they promise you here is the current conditions. Basically, it has lights in it, and has a red, yellow, and green light. And when the green light is on, you can go to sleep. So you wave your hand above it, and if the green light comes on, go to sleep. And it measures the noise level and the light. If the light is on, you get a red light. This tells you, don't go to sleep, the light is on. So I don't need that to know that I can't go to sleep, of course. And so it also has a humidity level. And of course, in Israel, it's always humid. I never got a green light. I could never go to sleep with this device. So I didn't really need that. It's current conditions. It wasn't useful. It's just, yeah. Next, sleep timeline. What happens here is that they go through the entire evening, the entire night that you sleep, and they record what's happening. If there's an alarm clock, an alarm outside, or something happens, and you wake up, they know because they record. But you have to enable recording in your bedroom. Does anyone here wants to record what's happening in their bedroom? So that was off. I turned that off. I didn't need that. Okay. The fourth thing that they promised me here is the sleeping score. You wake up every morning and you know exactly how well you slept. What is that for? Who needs that? So that's why I have used it for only 1 week, and I thought it was junk. But then I was like, what's happening here? I was waiting for this for 1 year, and it failed me. The elephant felt like the elephant is in the room. Like I'm like, 1 second, I'm just checking. Yeah. So I felt like I was like all of a sudden feeling uncomfortable about this technology. But this is something I've been waiting. I thought it's going to change my life, and it hasn't. And I started being suspicious about smart devices all of a sudden. From a person who'd been advocating for the Internet of Things, I started feeling like, what is so smart about it? What's so smart about it? So I started looking at things, and for example, the smart home. Everyone's speaking about the smart home. What is the smart home? So I went to Google, and I put in a smart home. And when you go to Google Images, by the way, so all the images you see are like pictures of homes and rooms with icons on them. So icons, and more icons. What are these icons? I don't even know, like icons. And icons. So, today, for the first time, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you the smart homes. We're all going to know what's happening in the smart homes. So, imagine that you have a smart home and you're feeling smart about yourself and you're driving your smart car and you drive into your driveway as the solar panel shine a light into your eyes. And you take a step, you walk into your house. So basically the door opens because it recognizes you. It's a smart home, right? So it recognizes your phone, it opens, the door opens for you. You don't have to use the key. And you step into your room. And then what happens? You step another step, the light turns on. Great. And then you're feeling like you're tired after a long day of work. You want to take a break. You want to sit on the couch. So of course the curtain's open, and you're feeling smart about yourself. You feel comfortable. You sit on the couch. The television recognizes who you are, and opens to your favorite channel. And then, of course, if you're very, very smart, you invested in the smart light bulbs. And today is Tuesday, so we're feeling that the light should be red. Maybe it's Wednesday, blue. What is so smart about this? I'm like thinking, what's going on here? This is what the icons represent. This is what we need in life. And of course, don't forget the smart kettle. You can turn on the kettle from your phone. You don't have to wait for it, for the hot water to boil. Is this smart? Is this really smart? I think that the elephant is in the room. At least for me, all of a sudden I started thinking about these things, and I was thinking, is smart dumb? What's going on? So today I'm going to show you a few devices. It's not easy it's not hard to find them. I'm going to show you a few things that to me, that's blow my mind. All of a sudden I was awakened. So by the way, so if it's just because it's connected, it doesn't mean it's smart, right? So, for example, the toothbrush, the connected toothbrush. Does anyone need a connected toothbrush? What does it do? Basically, it tells you how well you brushed, how long you brushed your teeth. You need that? You want to invest $150 for this? No. And the egg minder. You know exactly how many eggs you have in your fridge, right? Using the phone. This is very, very smart. And of course, the notion of a smart fridge has been really around for a while. Everyone is talking about the smart fridge, how the smart fridge of the future will... This is from a movie Microsoft released when they talk about the smart fridge of the future, and this is how it looks. It's really cool. You see how many, what's the expiry date of stuff. But the reality of today is a little bit different. Today, the smart fridges maybe look like this, where there's a camera inside that shows you all the stuff you got in your fridge. This is an example, latest example of the smartest fridge. But also a smart fridge by Samsung, where they have a screen there, and the screen is very smart, and what they have there is this touch. So basically, if you bought a fish, you just drag and drop and put the fish in the fridge. So you tell the fridge what you got inside. Of course, if you ate the fridge, you got to pull it out. So it's a drag and drop interface. Is this smart? Who's going to use this? I think if you bought a fridge like that, you're going to use it for 1 week, and then you're going to because you paid a lot of money for that. You want to feel good about yourself, but then you're going to be tired of this. No one wants to drag and drop. So when they're selling you a fridge, and one more thing. So when they're selling you a fridge, this is the ad. This is how they show you a fridge would look like. And of course, our fridges don't look like that. That's how they look. There's no drag and drop interface on this thing, okay? No. So that's not smart, in my opinion. So again, the connected oven. I came across the connected oven a couple years ago, and I was like, wow, connected oven, what does it do? And I tried to look for what does it do, and I couldn't find it, and I finally got to the press release this company released, and I'll read it to you. Wi-Fi connectivity, integrated discovery, controller, stereo sound, and impressive graphics with an exciting multimedia experience. This is an oven. What does it do? No clue. So if you want a connected oven, you'll have a very impressive multimedia experience. And can anyone guess what this is? You're right. It's the connected salt shaker. Let me show you a little bit.
Open your Smalt app and simply pinch the screen or shake your phone to dispense salt. After all, Smalt is a smart salt dispenser.
Shake your phone to dispense salt. You need to shake your phone and the salt comes out. So, yeah. And of course, anything that could be connected will be connected.
Is the first
blue
fidget spinner that connects to your smartphone.
So
download the
I
app.
don't know why would they. I mean, I just want to say, you know, it's a fidget
Bluetooth.
spinner, but they made a game from. So anything that would be connected, and then comes the smart juice maker. Let me show you the video.
This is the Juicero. It's Silicon Valley's favorite juicer. It's $400, which maybe isn't a ton for people who are into juicing. It creates cold pressed juice from this, a $5 packet of sort of mushed up fruits and veggies. This is like a blood IV packet. Like, there's nothing appetizing about this. So we set up one of our colleagues with it, and we didn't really mean to like prank her, but she couldn't get it working. She didn't know why. We actually didn't know why. And that's when it dawned on us, this thing connects to the internet. So we finally get it connected to the internet. We put in the packets, and it still won't work. Why? The packets are expired. Yeah, that's right. All of the packets are scanned and checked whether or not they've expired in the cloud, and if they have, it's not like a carton of milk that you can drink it a day or two late. It just won't juice them. So this is a kind of a big deal juicer. The company behind it, Juicero, raised $120 million from companies like Google and Campbell's. So I don't mean to be rude about it, but this is just pretty much everything wrong with Silicon Valley design today. It's a solution for rich people that's worse than the problem.
A solution for rich people that's worse than the problem. This is a $400 device. And you would be really, really disappointed to find out, after you purchase it, by the way, that you can actually squeeze it with your hands, the packets. You don't need a device. Okay, so does anyone need a connected toaster? Yes, okay. So you would know how long would the toast took you to bake. And this thing, I got to tell you, this company really got me, because I was showing this in my presentation. Let me show you what I saw.
Ring is a wearable input device.
So, one ring to rule them all, right? And with $800,000, they were off to produce this ring thingy, which is a great success. Everyone wanted it to control the world around it, but the reality was that it was too bulky for some people, because sometimes you have a small hand. This is a honky ring, and this review came out.
So once you get a gesture set up, it's time to execute it. Again, it works probably 5 to 10% of the time. And even when it works, it's very, very glitchy, like changing a volume on iOS. Here's the funny thing. On iOS and on, well, you're going to see Android, it doesn't work from the home screen. The app has to be running for a gesture to work. So it's completely bogus. Rather than clicking the camera icon from your home screen, you have to unlock your phone, go to the Ring app, open the Ring app, wait for the app to open, wait for the Bluetooth connection to take place, and then create your command. It's horrible. So I thought, well, on Android it has to be better, right? No, not at all. If you leave the app and you try to complete the action, it doesn't work. So the app has to be running for an action to complete. It is the most inconvenient, useless piece of hardware and software that I have ever seen. I would not wish my worst enemy the curse of having to use this product. It's absolutely horrible, not worth $269, not worth $5. I'm Quinn of Snazzy Labs. Stay far away from this. It will destroy your life.
It will destroy your life.
Stay snazzy. See you later, folks.
Okay, so to conclude this section, I want to say that there's something happening here. Every company decides, in some level, to connect their products to the internet. And I'm talking about any sector you can think of. There's some sort of a movement to connect. Even the most basic thing, like I just want to drink. I'll show you a few examples of connected bottles. So Automatic is a connected bottle that you pour in whatever you want to drink, and it tells you what you poured into it. Right? Thermos, let's see the video.
Thermos connected hydration bottle with smart lid ensures that you're ready to take on whatever the day ahead will bring. Getting started is easy. Simply wake up your connected lid using the USB charger. The Thermos Smart Lid app will automatically connect to it. With a few simple steps, the hydration calculator will create a daily hydration goal that is designed specifically for you. Cleaning your bottle is simple too. Just wash it with soap and water. Then fill up your bottle and start.
Is this something I'm missing? I just want to drink a drink. I don't want to connect and So again, another company, the colors change based on your hydration, so you know when to drink. And this thing for kids.
对，咕噜噜水精灵开口与你语音互动。I'm Ninja. Thanks for helping me save email. That's funny. 有趣的内容让咕噜噜的可玩性和互动性大大增强。How long can you hold your breath?
What could go wrong? So, a lot of these things are funny. Really, they're funny, but they're not cool. I don't think they're cool. They're not cool because they're a testimony of our professions. A lot of people here are designers, and this kind of shows what we do as designers. This kind of shows that it doesn't give a good testimony to our designs. And I think it's happening, and I want to explain why I think it's happening. I think it's happening because in the past, when innovation came into mass market, it took it years to mature. It went into academia. People studied the implications of it. People thought about it. And then 10, 20, 30 years after that people thought about it, it came to maturity. But what's happening now is because it's so cheap and so easy to do, that the companies are just going and doing it. We don't really need these products, and we are like the test bunnies for this types of technology. So let me give you an example. This thing that we're all familiar with, we know what it does today, it took it time to mature. 71, people were thinking about how this would work. The flat screen television. 58, people were thinking about it. How it would be, the minimization of a television in your living room. I was walking in Scotland, in a museum in Scotland, and I was seeing all these crazy technologies from the past, and phones, and then I came across this thing, which is amazing. It blew me mind. I don't know what year is this. Obviously, it's from the 60s or 70s or 50s. And this is, they imagine how future technology would be when you call someone and you can actually see them. Right? Today we know how that looks. This is Skype, right? And can anyone guess what this is? What? Yes, it's a fax machine. And this is another example of how the fax machine came to be thought about in the 70s. So 100 years ago, they were thinking about it. In the 70s, they were thinking about it still. And in the 80s, it was a device that changed the world. Be able to communicate very quickly like that. And this little thing that we're all familiar with today, actually in the 80s, there was smart capacitive touch. And let me show you how that worked.
That works. I'll draw the number 1.
or number 2. And you can see those 3 arrows appear. That's how long you've got to do your gesture. To draw a plus. And then a 7. And then 2 lines for an equals. 19.
It's pretty impressive.
So
pretty impressive.
A gesture
Fast
control
in the 80s.
touchscreen calculator.
And of course, we all know how that looks today. So I want to say that, again, there's a gold rush. It's a gold rush, and we are the guinea pigs of these types of technology. But we don't know how it will end up, because maybe in 20 years, the egg minder, will make sense to us. We'll see this. It will look like one of these old photos I showed you, but it would make sense in some way. Maybe the future of the smart fridge. This would make sense. Or the glass, which was a big failure for Google Glass. Today it still looks good, all right, but in 20 years this will look really old, but it would make sense. We would understand why this came to be now and how it evolved 20 years from today. So I think that we shouldn't be alarmed with this stuff, but we shouldn't allow ourselves to be guinea pigs of this types of technology. And I never raise a problem if I can't give you a solution. And since this is generally a meetup for user experience designers, there are solutions. It's up to us. We are the gatekeepers of technology. We can decide how these technologies will show and what meanings they would have. Because we are working in these theaters where we draw on whiteboards and we put sticky notes. And it's like, we write code. It's like we're playing Lego. It's like we're building worlds. But it's cool, right? But what happens is that some of the stuff that people not use, this would go to the garbage eventually. This will end up here, And a designer is responsible for the stuff they put up to the world. We are responsible because we are the gatekeepers of this. So this is something great to think about. And Mike Monteiro said it the best. The work you bring into this world is your legacy. It will outlive you and it will speak for you. So we have to make sure that we do great jobs. We have to make sure that we do good things when we do this. When you are hired to design something, you're hired for your expertise. Your job is not just to produce that work, but to evaluate the impact of that work. So saying no is a design skill. Asking why is a design skill. And you can say, just because it's connected, it doesn't mean it's smart, right? So, and there are tools we can use. We can come to our boss, and there are the most fundamental tools for user experience designers are these 3 legs. Is it useful, usable, and people want to use it? If it's not leaning on at least one of these legs, we don't want to design it. So, for example, the connected salt shaker, is it useful? No. Is it usable? Yes. Usable. People want to use it? No. So definitely not designing it. Don't design it. No need. Okay. Moving on. So let's think about the added value. I think Dror was showing a great added value to his product. I'm going to explain what it means. So there is a perceived value, and then there is an added value when we're thinking about connected devices. So the perceived value is what you buy. For example, here, the perceived value of the connected door is that you buy a way to enter into your house without using a key. That's the perceived value. That's great. But the added value here is that you can send keys to your friends. You can send provisions to who's coming in and out of your house. That's a great added value, and that's why August is a really successful product. So I think we should always look for the added value when we're designing connected products. What's the added value? What does it mean? Just connecting it to the internet doesn't mean anything. How do we make it more smart, more interesting? Another example, this is just imagined. This is not a real product right now. But a perceived value of a connected washing machine. Can anyone tell me what can you do with a connected washer? What? Okay, you can add more functions to it. You can make it dry or, yeah, okay. What else? Can't hear you. Okay, so you can turn it off and on, most people say, or you can add advanced settings, which people don't usually use. That's cool, but no one is going to replace his washing machine for that settings, right? So what we can do is we can think about it a little bit differently. Maybe added value would be turning the washing machine to a service. So basically for $1, you get this machine. $1 every time you use it, and you get a monthly service bill. Washing machine is included for free. You don't have to pay for it. Free repairs. Washing soap delivered every month when it's done, right? Washing machine replaced every 10 years. So this is a service. This is imaginary, right? It's not real, but think about it. When we understand how connected devices can change This industries, could disrupt industries. Maybe people will start using it. Think about it as like maybe renting a car. You can buy a car by the kilometer or something. I don't know. There's many interesting ways these things, added value you can do. Propeller is an asthma inhaler that has a great added value. Because when you have asthma, it's great to keep track every time you use the device. That's the great perceived value. But the added value here is that actually the city hall receives notice every time people are using it, and they can see if there's a problematic area in the city. Maybe there's some air pollution. So this is a great added value, an incentive for people to use this propeller. Sometimes outcome could add value. Of course, everyone knows this smart tracker that tracks your daily movement and your sleep. What happens, actually, the outcome of using this device created an added value because now people are more active. They have a healthier lifestyle. It added a great value to their lives. You are monitoring how active you are throughout the day. That's cool, but you're becoming more healthy. That's a great added value. This is why it's a successful product. And I think one of the most successful products ever in IoT is Nest, and because it has a very great added value, and I'm going to show it to you.
Meet the third generation Nest Learning Thermostat. It has a bigger, sharper screen, and it's even better at learning what you like. Just turn it up or down. It will catch on after a few days and create a personalized schedule for you. That's how the Nest Thermostat saves energy. In real homes with real families, it saved so much energy it paid for itself. To save even more, just follow the leaf. Nest even turns itself down when you leave the house. And you can control it from anywhere. You can see how much energy you use every day, and how to use less. Energy companies all over the world are giving the Nest thermostat to their customers because they know it saves energy. That's the most beautiful part. The Nest Learning Thermostat programs itself, then pays for itself.
So what's happening here is that the electric companies in the United States give this product for free. Because what happens is that when you buy this product, you're thinking, okay, it's going to help us manage our air temperature, and that's cool, that's the perceived value. And the added value is that maybe we save like $30 a month on the electricity bill. That's cool, but think about it as a city. The city, if everyone in the city uses that, the $30 a month becomes thousands and millions of dollars every year. And that saves energy, so it helps create a better planet. This is a great added value. This is why it's a more successful product. So in these words, I want to conclude by saying one more point. Everything around us is designed. Everything around us, this space here, the air conditioning, the chairs you're sitting on, everything is designed. We are designers, and as designers, we must always consider how this technological era can benefit not only our users, but humanity as a whole. I really believe that. If we add added values that creates better environments, that creates better awareness of our health, it creates an impact on the planet, that would create a really great added value. And that would add to the success of that specific product. Imagine how this team that works on Nest, how they feel. How do they feel, waking up in the morning and knowing that they contributed to create a more healthier environment? This is great. This is a great product. And that's a great way to end. And by the way, I wrote an article about this if you want to read more disruptive IoT innovation. So we're coming back to this dude, which I keep showing you from time to time. This dude is a cat and is featured, as you can see here, in a movie. Because I'm not the only person thinking that there's a lot of crap out there. There's actually other companies thinking the same way. They produced a video just highlighting this, and I want to show this to you. So enjoy.
This is a little toe tapper for all you kids at home. It's all about connections. The laptop's connected to the smartphone. The smartphone's connected to the tablet. The tablet's connected to a button. The bus is connected to a taxi. The taxi's connected to your mailbox. Your mailbox connected to a litter box. Your box connected to your friend's phone. Your friend's phone's connected to a mom's phone. Your mom's phone's connected to a jogging shoe. The jogging shoe's connected to a wristband. The wristband's connected to a popcorn stand. The popcorn stand's connected to an escalator. The escalator's connected to an ice hatch. The ice hatch's connected to a TV set. Everything's connected to a super cute cat.
Just because it's connected doesn't mean it's smart.
Right? So that's all, kids. That's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I think it inspired you to think a little bit more about what it means to connect things to the internet. And I want to thank you all for coming, and see you again soon. That's it. So there is Rothschild Boulevard is full of stuff. You guys go and enjoy. If you want to come and talk to me, by the way, about anything, come and talk to me in Drawer. We're here. And see you on the 13th of this month in Google Campus. We're going to talk about more interesting things. Check it out on Meetup.